Okay, so I just want to make this quick video talking about why DJI, the company that makes the drones and stuff, chose to have the camera on the brand new Mavic Pro to have this blurry effect, because that was a choice that they had. They could have just left their camera the exact same as the Phantom 4 because many of the specs are the same, but they made a choice to change it for the Mavic because of one reason, and that is to have a wider aperture. What up, t-shirt reference. So if you're not familiar with how cameras work, they have an aperture which does a couple of different things, but basically changes the amount of light that is coming in to your camera. So on the DJI Mavic, they chose to have it be a wider aperture than what we see on like the Phantom 4. And the reason for that is so it would be better in low light, which I don't believe they've talked about too much. There's not been too much information released on how well the DJI Mavic Pro does in low light, but since they increased the size of their aperture, that means that more light is going to come through the camera, leading to a less grainy picture, so then you can see more details when it's dark at night. That does mean when you have a wider aperture, there is a shallower field of focus, so that means you have more things that are out of focus than in focus. Than if you have a very high aperture, so it's very small, that means everything's in focus, which is what we see with the Phantom 4. So they chose to have a wider aperture, so it's probably better in low light, but then they had this whole focus issue because not everything is going to be in focus anymore, so they had to create this whole new system basically to focus, where you tap on the screen and it'll just focus where you tapped. This is a great feature, but for those people who don't remember or don't even know about this focus feature, that means your footage is basically going to be out of focus because of the small depth of field that you have if you aren't constantly focusing. We don't know why DJI made it so difficult to focus, why it's not just automatic like all the other features of the camera when you're in the automatic modes, but definitely by adding that wider aperture, it's really going to increase low light performance and basically result in a better image. If you haven't checked out my other comparisons between the GoPro Karma and other information about the DJI Mavic Pro, you can check those in the link below. Hopefully you learned something, and as always, don't forget to keep it pro.